All right, so here's my take, and Andy knows about this because I presented at your wonderful conference and sort of talked about this issue. But I want to set the stage. I'm dating myself. I'm going back to the early 2000s. So 2002, 2003, I was in publishing. I worked for a large B2B publisher, and I was responsible for a division. At that time, it was the custom media division, which became ultimately content marketing. But when we went in to our budgetary meetings, we had to show two areas of growth. One was organic growth. So that would be anything internal. We're using existing staff, ideas. So that would be new magazines we wanted to launch, new websites, new podcasts, new social media, whatever the programs were at that time. We wanted to go ahead and launch something internally with our own staffing, ideas, resources. And then we were also charged with what are the acquisition opportunities out there? Because the executive team wanted to know, all right, well, yeah, you could do some internally, but of course, our growth as a company, Pent Media's growth at the time, it was a lot of that growth was acquisition. So each group had to go out and say, okay, well, what magazines, what podcasts, what websites are you going to go out and purchase with the cash on hand that we have so that we don't have to wait 2, 3, 5 years to build an audience or revenue source in that area. So let's come back to today, even on the marketing side, content marketing side, or on the content creator side. I think when you look at content marketers today and they're going and saying, we want to build an audience and we want to sell some product, services, whatever to that audience, they're almost always thinking organic only. And marketers have done this since the dawn of time. We always think that we have the best ideas, that we have to do all this work ourselves. And there's no problem with that. Absolutely, we want to feel that way. But I think we're missing out on an opportunity by not having a short list somewhere and saying, okay, if there was an opportunity, what are the YouTube channels, the newsletters, the podcasts, the webinar series, the physical events, the print magazine, whatever it is that we would love to purchase that can shorten our runway and our timeline to get us that audience so that we can drive revenue quicker, faster, more efficiently, or build audiences where we don't have audiences, but we want to launch a product in there. So that's where I think there's a huge opportunity. And we just did a big research project at the Tilt about the creator economy. And we found out that about 2 in every 10 content creators are looking to sell. So they're building this thing. They're putting all their energy in it, but they want an exit. They might want to work for another company and use that those assets and sell those assets, or they might want to get out entirely, whatever. And I think it's critical. I think the future skill for marketers that they're not looking at right now is the art of acquisition and understand what it takes and to look at a P&L and to look at what makes sense from an acquisition and what doesn't. Like you look at Red Bull Media House, we put that up on as the darling of content marketing. We don't realize that half those brands under Red Bull Media House were actually acquired outside. We look at Arrow Electronics and we say, well, how did Arrow Electronics become the electronics distribution company? How did they become the largest media company for B2B electronics engineers? Well, they purchased 52 different media brands out there. That's how they got there. So I'm just out there sort of on a campaign to let marketers know that has to be part of our job as content marketers today, to look at those opportunities. Doesn't mean you have to pull the trigger, but you actually should. If you care about what you're doing as part of your role, part of that has to be acquisition and not all organic. So I will leave it to the floor.
I like it. I'll back that up with a quick case study. This was an article I read years ago about a super competitive category online: mattresses. Bed in a Box comes up as a technology now. Now there's a million mattress e-commerce sites, and there's a ton of. It's like Thunderdome. It is an insanely competitive category. So and it's search driven, right? Because who's got it's word of mouth maybe, but it's a research driven thing, right? It's like you and a spouse, or you're researching at home. So what the mattress companies began to do is to buy all the blogs that were ranking for all the phrases. Some of them, I think they shut down. Some of they lightly rebranded. Some of them they kind of left as like secret, kind of stealth, pretty shady, like these kind of affiliate type. They turned it into like an affiliate site. But as an SEO strategy, brilliant. They were beginning to like own the whole first page, because their thinking was not, we are a single domain. We can rank again and again and again by owning multiple domains. I asked this question at a conference, like, will SEO ever die? No, because it's always possible to acquire a company that ranks higher than you. What is that? That's SEO. That's M&A SEO. Scary, right?
Love it.
Yeah. So you can, if the you know the ultimate in the most competitive corners of the internet, it's not sufficient to simply rank number one. You want to push everybody else off of page one, and one way that they were doing that in the mattress category, others I'm sure too, travel bad, lots of them, acquire all the blogs. Wow. Now you own the page.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Great example.
Yeah.